Kitco Mining's special coverage of the Vancouver Resource Investment Conference is brought to you by First Mining Gold.
The U.S. needs critical metals like copper and lithium, but is America doing enough to approve new mines? I'm with the Mercenary Geologist, Mickey Fulp. Mickey, welcome back to Kitco.
Thanks a lot, Michael. As my pleasure as always.
It's good to finally see you in person. We're just going to start at the beginning, though. You do help us out with a weekly podcast where you cover all of these. The name is?
The Metals, Money, and Markets Weekly, now in its 5th year, going on its 6th year. About half of that exclusive to Kitco, and we're very happy to have Kitco as our sponsor.
Let's talk about these markets right now. So since the start of the year, what I've seen is actually that we've seen NASDAQ is down by about a third. Bitcoin is down by about a third. And we see that gold is at least staying out of the 1700s right now. What's happening, Mickey?
The economy's in turmoil. Inflation, shrinkflation, stagflation nation, and it's all coming to bear. And the markets have been on such a bull run, we're overdue for a correction, but we're in economic recession. Wait till the end of the second quarter and those numbers come out and GDP will be negative, and that's an official recession. And worldwide economies are a mess because of money supply increases, and I don't see it getting better anytime soon.
Is there anything in the resource space that works right now? Some people are talking about getting into the royalty and streaming space because at least you're protected from what's happening with oil prices.
Historically, when gold prices are down, the only company in gold equities that prosper royalty and streaming companies. So that's definitely an option. Personally, I own a gold fund in one of my IRAs to play the gold producers, mid-tier and large producers as a package, and that way I don't have to pick individual stocks. But the problem with the gold industry right now is the gold price, even it went to 2,000, we have these increasingly increasing, if you will, input costs, mainly energy and labor. And so I don't think that we're going to see profit margins. Q3 of 2020 was the height of gold stock prosperity. I'm not sure we'll ever see that again, because now inflation, input costs have caught up. Before that, margins were still very high because we didn't have this increase in energy and labor costs.
It sounds like you're feeling right now we're going to be stuck with these high energy prices.
Yeah, I don't see any way out of it. $105 for the last 2 or 3 months. The world runs on oil. Oil is still king. It's going to be that way for my lifetime, and I would submit in your children's lifetime. The world's still going to run on oil. We have no other option. And we are in a supply deficit of oil, especially in the U.S. We're down 10% from the peak in 2020, pre-pandemic, and we've been stuck in neutral here for a year or more. And the Biden administration anti-fossil fuel initiatives are going to keep all the investment out of the oil and gas industry that's needed so we can once again be fossil fuel independent in the United States. We're not that anymore, and we were a net exporter during the last year of the Trump administration.
If you're interested in the energy transition space, so you're interested in your coppers, you're interested in lithium, how do you recommend that resource investors get exposure that way?
Well, I am basically exiting junior resource space at this time. I'm very bearish. If you would have asked me at the beginning of the year, I would have said U.S. copper producers, developers, explorers, developers, but Rosemont got knocked down in Arizona. Polymet got knocked down in Minnesota. The last straw was Trilogy Metals got knocked down by a U.S. government initiative in Alaska. So where do you go right now? I don't really know. Price of copper is going to stay high, no doubt, with inflation and the aforementioned cost inputs, but margins are going to go down because of energy and labor costs. So I don't really know where to tell you to go for a good copper project. Every place in the world, you look at the top 5 copper producers, which would be Chile, Peru, China, U.S., and what am I missing here? Russia, perhaps, and they all have geopolitical issues at this point. So where's copper going to come from? I'm not really sure.
So is the issue right now with the resource space when you say you're exiting the juniors, is the fact that even if you get to a mine, you're just going to get wiped out by these high costs, is going to get wiped out by the oil costs?
I'm not sure you can get to a mine anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, look what's happened in the U.S., which, in my opinion, if you had asked me a year ago, it was the last bastion, or 2 years ago, of places that you could develop a copper mine without undue resource nationalism or geopolitical issues. And that, with the Biden administration, their anti-development policies, not only with metals, but also with the energy sector, where do you go? I don't really know. Can you develop it? Once you find it, explore it, can you get it permitted and developed? I don't really know. So I'm slowly taking money out of junior resource space.
Anything else that you're looking at right now then, I guess is
Well, there's still gold in Nevada. That's probably still good until something happens there. And we would hope that the Biden administration is smart enough to admit that the gold industry in the U.S. is solely based in Nevada, and maybe they'll cut companies a break in Nevada. We'll see.
What's the turnaround? Is it a change in administration, or is it also just a change in terms of getting this high-priced dollar? You see a lower price on it.
Well, I think the dollar's going to remain high. What else is there? Where else do you want to put? What other fiat currency would you like to put your assets into? And I don't really know. I think there's an obvious solution, and that's the Federal Reserve hikes up interest rates and reduces the money supply, which is going to generate a worldwide economic recession. It's going to generate stock market corrections, even more so, crashes. And, it's 1978 to 1982 all over again, how we come out of that. Well, Volcker came in and increased interest rates. They got as high as 14, 15%, and we went through some difficulties, but in 2 or 3 years, we reset capitalism. We had economic recovery, and we were good to go again. The question is there political will in the United States to do that? And I can't answer that.
Mickey Fulp, I appreciate your views.
Different views. I have never been this bearish in my life. So generating cash, taking it out of the equities market, including major equity market too. And I'm always long on something, Michael. Right now, I'm long on physical gold and farmland.
He's Mickey Fulp. He is a Mercenary Geologist. Your follow is, Mickey, at Twitter?
At Mercenary Geo, 48,300 Twitter followers. And at the end, this is a little self-promotion here. At the end of our Kitco-sponsored exclusive weekly review, we put up, it's called The Parting Snark, and it's our next Twitter poll. And we invite everybody to vote on our weekly Twitter polls.
My name is Michael McRae, and you're watching Kitco Mining.
Kitco Mining's special coverage of the Vancouver Resource Investment Conference is brought to you by First Mining Gold.